The second thing the world-class innovators do is they're not afraid to take on big problems. And they're not afraid to pursue big ideas to help to solve the big problems. And we know in the world of healthcare, we've got big problems. You know, the really good news about what is happening in the world of healthcare is that we've done so much in terms of medical advancement that life expectancy today is showing absolutely wonderful signs. The average person born today is likely in Western society to live to the age of 100. We've done so much in terms of longevity. Really good news. We're all going to live a lot longer. In South America, average life expectancy in Brazil has gone from 43 years in 1950 to 75 plus years today. And given the rapid industrialization of society there, it won't be that long before the average life expectancy there will be 100 as well. That's the good news. Then there's the bad news. And the bad news is pretty bad. Actually, it's worse than bad. It's like really bad. You know, if you think about trends which are impacting the industrialized world, stagnating populations. We've got industrialized nations in Germany, in various other areas in which we're actually witnessing population decline. Certainly a major trend happening in Italy. We've got shrinking workforces because, with that stagnating population, the workforce begins to shrink. We've got steadily increasing pension-focused populations. The trend in Germany is certainly, aging of the population with an expectation that we have these pensions that help us carry our lifestyle into the future. Except now we're all going to live to the age of 100. And the actuarial assumptions really haven't provided for that. And the challenge that exists as this comes about is growing social spending commitments. Somehow we have to fund all this health care, which we get. And the reality is all of this is occurring as all of us baby boomers become older and we become sicker, we place even more demands upon the healthcare system. And what begins to happen are some pretty staggering trends. It is estimated that 1.6 adults worldwide are overweight or obese, and 50% of adults in the US and Europe fit into this category. We know the health concerns that come with obesity. We know that it drives huge challenges into the healthcare system in terms of what we have to do to manage the complexity. The emergence of lifestyle disease. News that just came out last week that the number of adults with diabetes worldwide has doubled since 1980 to 347 million people. How do we fund all this? How do we pay for the care that is going to happen? You look at the impact around the world. I spent some time with a company called FMC Lithium. Lithium is a key component in statin drugs, cholesterol drugs. And I was talking to the CEO there, and they were talking about the fact that, they think one of their largest growth markets happens to be China and India. Because China and India, Brazil, the BRIC countries, they're adopting Western lifestyles. And they're getting the same lifestyle diseases that we've developed with diabetes and cholesterol and all of those things. So they're witnessing growth markets of 25% compounded per year. You look at the global story, this is really depressing stuff. If policies do not change, 6 European countries will find that up to 30% of their GDP is devoted to care of the elderly by 2050. We are sitting on top of a global time bomb. And that's why we need to be prepared to think differently. You think about the funding challenges. In Europe, the ratio of workers to retirees right now is about 5.2. There are 5.2 young people working to support every single retiree. In just a few years, that's going to be just 2.6 young people working to support every single retiree. Do you know what this means? We've got to think big in terms of big solutions, big ideas, big scope ideas to help us reduce the cost of the burden that is coming. And what happens is that politics is now playing a role. In Italy, what they do in the Italian healthcare system is they're completely open, as we are in Canada, to bringing in as many immigrants as possible to work within the healthcare system. Let's recognize their offshore professional degrees as a nurse, as a doctor practitioner faster so that we can bring them into the system. And, we're doing that in some organizations, in some countries, in other organizations, the politics is becoming clouded where we've got an immigration backlash, and all of a sudden we're losing access to the healthcare workers that we need. You mix it all together, and there's a lot of problems. But you know what? Innovative organizations look at big problems and see opportunity. You know, some people will look at these healthcare challenges and see a threat. Some people will look at, you know, the starkness of these numbers and go, holy cow, this is really depressing stuff. Some people see a trend and see a threat. Real innovators see a trend and see an opportunity.